Welcome back. We're going to walk through the Universe tab in this video. You generally only use the Universe tab once when making a set of ships. When you're running a campaign, everybody needs to have the same universe settings chosen, otherwise your ships won't be compatible. Not all space combat universes are the same, and in fact that's kind of the point. Universes have a lot of variables that make them feel different on the tabletop. The Universe tab is here to help you tweak the variables under the hood for Squadron Strike so it better fits the universe you're building the Navy for. Up at the top of the tab we have a purple drop-down. Each choice on the drop-down is a pre-packaged set of universe options. We've got some for Traveler and the Tufflyverse and for other projects we've done over the years. The ones we use most often are Simple Baseline and Crossover Standard. Crossover Standard is Squadron Strike with all of the options turned on, while Simple Baseline turns off a number of the stranger options from Crossover Standard. If you really want to get into the weeds of universe design, and some people truly do, select Custom from the drop-down. This lets you select each of the variables individually, and you can make the setting anything you want. If all you want to do is design ships without worrying about a specific setting, stick with Simple Baseline or Crossover Standard. The show and tell. Next to the drop-down with the universe types on it is a green box where you should enter the name of your empire. This will show up on the final SSD. Next to it is a darker green box where you can put the path name to the folder that all of your SSD art assets are in. You're going to want 2 art assets per SSD. One of them is a top-down view of the ship with the front of it pointed towards the top of the image, and the other one is a side view with the front pointed towards the left side of the image. Copy the path name, open up an Explorer window in Windows, and right-click the address bar. Select Copy Address as Text from the context-sensitive menu and paste it here. Then add a final slash at the end of it so that everything works right. The first set of variables here are used if you're in a campaign game. You can select the number of players in the campaign game and then enter their names, or their names of their empires, in row 3. You'll also need to list the number of map resources in the campaign, and the number of players in the map resources generates the final number here, which is the total initial resource development points. One point is the currency that you spend in the campaign tab to buy all the technologies that your empire knows. Drop-downs work regardless of which universe setting you choose. The first two apply a divisor or multiplier on the point costs of ships and fighters respectively. Some universes need swarms of cheap fighters. Some universes need very cheap or very expensive ships. And these two drop-downs simply alter the final point costs of things. The other two drop-downs alter how the campaign tab behaves. They turn off trait limits, which means that weapon priority and tech levels don't alter how many weapon traits your empire can know. And turning off shrink bids and ultra-reactors means that the sealed bid process for empire-specific advantages, and some technology that, if it were commonly available, would be used by everybody, are turned off. Everything below the maroon line is something that's altered by a specific universe choice. As far as the spreadsheet is concerned, it's the values in column M, shown with gray boxes, that are important. Whenever you change universes, the drop-downs don't alter anything. The gray boxes will turn red to let you know when a drop-down doesn't match that universe's chosen variable, though. When you choose the custom universe setting, the gray boxes in column M will always match whatever you select in the drop-down. The first set of constraints are the ones with the widest impact. They're the unit construction constraints, and the text to the right gives you an idea of what they do. They're used for tuning how ships fit a specific setting. If you want ships that have higher thrust ratings, select a higher zoom factor. If you want bigger guns on the ships, select bigger weapon mounts. The second group of variables mostly pertains to campaign games, but has a few things that alter how ships are built. Tactical fuel really alters the way that the game is played, as does FTL fuel. Tactical teleporters are an interesting tactical option on the game map. The third group of variables defines what defenses there are in the game. By default, both Simple Baseline and Crossover Standard are permissive in what sorts of defenses are allowed. If you want ships to blow up a little faster, making defenses more expensive is more effective than tweaking mount sizes and unit construction constraints. The fourth group of variables adjust weapon attributes, like changing the rate at which weapon prices increase as range and damage increase. At the medium setting, a weapon's hull spaces will roughly triple when you double the range, or triple when you double the damage, and those multipliers are cumulative. Double the range and double the damage is roughly a 9-fold increase. The other constraints in this group are fairly easy to glean from their descriptions. The last group of variables allows you to specify which weapon traits should be allowed in this universe. In general, the disrupts and disables traits are hard to balance without the universe being specifically designed around them, and the same also applies to defensive weapon traits such as blocks damage and bubble. The last toggle for multipurpose interceptor is subtle. If you leave it at 1, you'll see a lot of short-range interceptor weapons that have no secondary utility. This results in less decision-making at the table, but can make the game itself a little bit more boring. If you have this set to none, it means that missiles and torpedoes had to be avoided by maneuver as part of their universe design. If you set it at 1.5 or 2, it forces point defense weapons to also be useful anti-ship weapons. This has been the overview of the Universe tab for the Squadron Strike ship design spreadsheet. Thank you for listening.